Coming to you from sunny California and the Great White North. Get ready. We are breaking down the obstacles on the Armchair Ninja Podcast. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Armchair Ninja Podcast. It is Saturday, October 28th, 2017. My name is Rich, and joining me once again this week is Bijan. How you making out?
I'm good, man. What up?
Not much, except we have a special guest this week. Finally, after a very long time, someone we wanted to have on with us, and we found the perfect reason to have him with us. Will from the former Final Stage podcast and current YouTube sensation. Thanks for joining us, Will.
Wait, hold on. This is the Armchair Ninja Podcast? Oh, crap. I thought this was the Wolfpack podcast. Oh, screw this. I'm out of here.
Wolfpack shut down. I haven't seen a Wolfpack episode in forever. Guys, if Wolfpack, if you're listening, we need more episodes. You guys are awesome.
Yeah, for real. What's going on over there? Well, they're kind of busy now I think about it. You
know?
I can give them a pass.
Yeah. Thank you, Will, for joining us to cover Kunoichi, because I feel like more than ever, we need help trying to help cover this topic. There is a lot to it, and it's a little difficult, especially with the language barrier.
No problem, and it just so happens that I really like Kunoichi, so this is going to work out.
Yeah, first of all, it's crazy that this is the first time you're on our podcast, man. I feel like we've known each other forever. How is it? We need to have you more often. You are going to be our Japanese television show expert. Sasuke, all that. I'm going to you, bro. And yeah, all I got to say is, not to spoil it, but major thumbs up to this show. I was shocked at how much I enjoyed this.
Well, that's good. I was actually kind of wondering what your opinions would be, because I love this one. I love this too, and I was really afraid that we would butt heads, but it looks like we're going to be in agreement, so that works out.
I might butt heads with you a little bit on it, but overall I liked it too. But let's actually talk about what it is, because some people that are listening right now have no idea what the heck we're talking about. So, Will, I'm going to kick it over to you. Can you give us kind of a brief rundown of what the heck is Kunoichi?
All right. I'll give you a quick crash course on Kunoichi. So, all the way back in 2001, TBS debuted essentially a spin-off series to Sasuke known as Kunoichi, created by Ushiro Higuchi, the same creator of Sasuke. The point of the show was essentially Sasuke, but entirely with female competitors. And the course was generally consisted of obstacles that were more geared towards speed and balance. Typically, the show ran yearly, and originally it was only 3 stages long in the first 2 competitions. But when they got to Kunoichi 3, they revamped it to the traditional 4-stage format that we all know. And in Kunoichi 4, the history was made as newcomer and gymnast Ayako Miyake became the first woman to beat all 4 stages. And then in Kunoichi 5, she did it again. And then in Kunoichi 6, she did it again.
Wow.
Oh, yeah. It wasn't until stage 2 of Kunoichi 7 that she was finally defeated. So, yes, that is 13 buzzers in a row, a record that will literally never be repeated in any Sasuke/Ninja Warrior show, period, because it's just not going to happen. Kunoichi was overall a good show, in my opinion, but then in 2009, the abomination known as Kunoichi 8 happened, in which the show's format was heavily changed to be more woman versus woman, as well as woman versus course, as in Kunoichi 8, Stage 1 consisted 4 women running the course at the same time, and at max only 2 can move on. It was really bad. It's the worst competition I have ever seen. It's the only one I can't go back to watch because of just how ungodly boring it is. Mm-hmm. The only positive of Kunoichi 8 was that it actually crowned 2 new champions. Stage performer Satomi Kadoi, and my personal favorite, stage performer Rie Komiya. However, Kunoichi 8 was panned both by viewers and critics alike, and more importantly, the ratings weren't great. So at that point, Kunoichi got canceled. Fast forward to 2011, Uchiro Higuchi's company, Monster 9, files for bankruptcy, so he's out of the picture. TBS buys the rights of Sasuke and Kunoichi from Monster 9. They own the show. They have a new crew working on the show, so everything post Sasuke 27 is a different crew than what you're familiar with prior. Fast forward to 2016, TBS signs a new deal with Esquire Network to have episodes of Ninja Warrior air on U.S. television once again, as well as having new episodes of Ninja Warrior produced. Unfortunately, as you're well aware, the new episodes never came to fruition because Esquire Network went belly up. However, more importantly, TBS still got their money. So in December of 2016, they decided to surprise everyone by announcing that Kunoichi would be returning. And this especially came as a surprise to the crew that produces Sasuke, because they were not told ahead of time.
Oh, boy.
So for Kunoichi 9, the crew had exactly 6 weeks to design and build an obstacle course and find contestants. And so in February of 2017, Kunoichi officially returned to Japanese television and was heavily reworked from its prior version.
So a few things to bounce off of that. First of all, Ayako Miyako? Is that how you say it?
Ayako Miyake.
Ayako Miyake. Gotcha.
Yes.
She, in my opinion, is a legend, man. She's awesome. And I'm really curious. I don't know if you know, man, but why haven't we seen her this year competing? You have any idea?
She, in addition to being a gymnast, she's also an acrobat with a traveling stage show. To my understanding, she, from what I've heard, she is interested, but it's a case of work takes precedent over the show. Mm-hmm. And so my assumption is that she's been busy with her job.
Okay. I really hope we see her again. I mean, it's kind of like asking like Jeff Britton to come back, or, maybe for fans, Isaac, people that, have completed the course, but she's done it 3 times in a row. Like, if you think Kunoichi, you have to, the first thing you imagine is Yako. So I just need to see her back.
Yeah, of the 50 women who competed in this competition, only 2 of them have competed in Kunoichi prior to 2017. So
yes,
there's not.
And I have
not
a good feeling of who
people.
they are.
Yeah. Gee, I wonder if it was the 2 people they showed the footage of.
Yeah.
Yeah, it stands out a little bit.
A little bit.
Just very quick. Two things that I want to hear your guys' thoughts on. First of all, having 50 competitors, but showing pretty much all of their runs versus 100 competitors and showing a few of the runs. What do you guys prefer?
I think the talent pool for this one warrants 50. I think we've got, 70,000 people trying to get onto American Ninja Warrior, so 100 makes more sense in that case.
Yeah, I was originally unsure of it, but I think Kunoichi makes it work.
Yeah.
One of the other benefits that we don't necessarily see is that they do film the whole show in a day. So I imagine from a budget standpoint, it makes it a little easier on them.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Yeah, I fully agree. I really like the format of 50 people exclusively for Kunoichi, just because it is a little bit more narrow field exclusive, and the dynamic of competitors that they're going for on this show seems to be more like well-known celebrity-based people, athletes from different disciplines. It's not, find out everyday people, tryouts. It's more skewed towards people that are kind of well-known and from different disciplines. So I'm cool with it. And I really like the fact that every single person got their own very short, very detailed, and I guess focused little vignette. So somebody like me that's a complete newcomer can be like, oh, okay, they're doing that. So I appreciated that quite a bit. And yeah, just, well, Rich, you'll probably get to that. I was about to ask about the obstacles, but go ahead.
Yeah, well, let's run down some of the obstacles here. Let's take a look at the first stage, or the red stage, as they called it. A lot of familiar obstacles, kind of a few different names. We had the rolling hill, the pipe hold, shaking bridge, fishbone.
Why don't you describe them, bro?
I will. I'm going to go back through them here. So
Okay.
The double pendulum, warped wall, and cannonball. So basically, if you watched Sasuke, you have a good idea of what a lot of these look like. And if you watched ANW, imagine, I guess rolling hill's a little hard to describe. It's like running up some rolling pins and then down the other side with some more rolling pins. You kind of have to take your time up and down them. Pipe hold is really like the spinning log, but they're forced to sit down. They can't run across it. Would that be a fair description?
That is correct. You're not allowed to stand on it, and I'm sure you can figure out one of the reasons why you're not allowed to stand on it.
Yeah. For those, we got to mention it. It's like the elephant in the room. So they really focus a lot on some of the early competitors from particular angles. And they have certain types of competitors they seem to favor. They don't seem to hide the fact that some of these girls are just there to look pretty, I guess, to put it nicely.
Well, they come from backgrounds where, you know, they're models in, I guess, a certain type of model, and
yeah,
you know, I guess they're playing to a certain audience, but it is kind of sleazy at the same time. They're walking a fine line with that.
Yeah, I think they crossed the line for me. Just to be clear, I was very uncomfortable watching this for the first little while. I was very happy when it started to be taken a little more seriously partway through.
It does skew towards the point where, when watching the show, there is a huge dichotomy between people that have a chance on this course and people that don't. you can really, like, it is very obvious which people are going to make it and which people aren't.
One thing I will say is that I did feel like they used that particular angle less this time around compared to Kunoichi 9. If that makes you feel better at all. But yeah, it's something you can't deny that they do, because they clearly are doing it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So now that we get that out of the way, let's actually take a look at the we didn't go over all the courses. Fishbone is like a bunch of spinning pads that they have to walk across and try not to get knocked off.
I love the fishbone.
Fishbone's pretty cool. I like it. Shaking bridge is basically the tilting bridge, I think it's called typically.
Balance bridge, tilting bridge, everything
yeah.
It's been named a few times.
Double pendulum is the TikTok, basically. What did you call it?
Got some beef with that one.
Yeah, so in this version, it's technically called the slip wall, which actually made its debut in Kunoichi 9. It was never in Kunoichi prior to this. Basically, Bijan, back when you guys were reviewing Sasuke a couple of weeks ago, you asked, what changes are done to the course when women compete traditionally.
Yeah.
One of them is that the warp wall is shorter when women run the Sasuke course. The other major one on this version is that the space in between the two walls on the TIE Fighter is smaller.
Okay.
But yeah, so the slip wall is based on the female version of the warped wall on Sasuke.
Okay.
Yeah.
Slip wall, it's iffy if you like it or not. I understand women in Sasuke tend to be shorter, but I also understand, hey, why you're nerfing it for a woman. TIE Fighter, I completely agree with. It would really suck just based on the size of your, like, the length of your arms and legs having a drastic difference, and like that's not the main portion of the difficulty of the obstacle. It's more of the drop and everything. So I'm cool with them, I guess, shortening the distance in the two pads with that. All right, cool.
And the last obstacle was the cannonball, which was really interesting. I kind of like that obstacle. It's like a giant beach ball filled with, I don't know what it's filled with, but it'd be like, imagine it was filled with ping pong balls and they had to push it up a hill to reach the buzzer. It was kind of cool. It was like bigger than them, like a really giant ball.
For those of you wondering, it weighs 32 kilograms, which is about 70.5 pounds.
Ooh, man, that's... I have to imagine some of these women are not even 100 pounds, so that's... Okay, that actually explains a lot, because some of the women had a really tough time bringing that up the hill. So
yeah, there's a reason
that's actually
for that.
a pretty legit obstacle.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of the obstacle, mainly because I'm a big fan of American Gladiators, and that used to be an obstacle in American Gladiators.
Nice.
So this also made its debut in Kunoichi 9, and when that obstacle was first revealed, I got very excited.
Gotcha. So the number one obstacle when it comes to stage 1, just like Sasuke, has to be the time limit. We saw just as many people failing the course because of the time limit as much as people failing because of an obstacle. And I really like that dynamic about Sasuke and Kunoichi, of the fact that time really plays a part. You can't like, take your time and go at a slow pace. And another dynamic is the final obstacle, that really heavy ball that they got to go up the hill. It's kind of like in stage 2 where you got to lift up the walls, for people that have seen it, or to a much lesser extent in American Ninja Warrior, those the little wall thingies. What do they call it, Rich? Like the things that you flip over, wall flip. I mean, that wall flip's kind of a joke, but like it is there kind of to kill time. This one actually, the ball really actually does an emphasis and does matter with it.
I will say this: the course from beginning to end, all 3 stages are, to me, perfectly balanced to the competitors, because we had a perfect number of finishers right through. Nothing. It was a good variety. I have nothing bad to say about the course at all. It's interesting from a few perspectives, but especially things like, they use foam peanuts basically instead of water in places, and padding. Like it's a very different feel. Like it's a course that I would actually tackle without too much worry. It seems much safer than a normal Ninja Warrior course.
Yeah, well, the people. The people competing on this, a large majority of them are going on this course for the first time, so it makes sense. With that said, I have to say the way they did the courses, it actually is a pretty legit course. It's not a super nerf course. It's not a joke of a course. I mean, I really appreciate the fact that they really presented an obstacle course that can be respected.
Yes, sorry, I'm probably giving the wrong impression there. It is a legit course, 100%. These are, the women that were able to complete it did a fantastic job, and I definitely would not be able to complete it myself if I gave that impression. I just thought it was I like the way that it was, the safety of this one compared to a normal course, and some of the, like, even like if you look like the cliffhanger, it's visually dynamic to have it in ANW be so high up, but it's really not necessary. They can drop down to like, waist deep water if it was at the same height level, but there's more dynamic movement, probably reasons for the heights and things that they have. But yeah, anyway, I just thought
Gravity.
Gravity. All right,
yeah,
we are way on. I don't know what just happened. We are moving on. This just got weird. All right, we're going. Taking a look at the competitors. In the beginning, there's not a whole lot of competitors that I would want to bring up, but we have to mention number 7.
Yes.
Reiki? Am I close?
Psyche.
She's really strong. She's lifting weights. She is. It's going to be a weird comparison, but bear with me here. She, to me, reminded me so much of Rob Moravsky. I miss Rob so much. Her crazy intensity when she took the course.
How dare you?
I'm sorry. Rob did amazing a few times. I'm sorry, but she was so entertaining. She was like super psyched. She finally got me into it. Like, I was really struggling through the first few competitors, and then she took the course. I'm like, I like this. All right, this is like, I can get into this now.
I mean, she's literally both a singer and a professional wrestler. Being entertaining is her job in many ways, and in many ways, her life is being entertaining.
And boy, is she good at it. I mean, she was so awesome. First of all, how dare Rich compare her to Rob Moravsky? She has like 15 million times more charisma than that guy. She is
Rob.
So good. The whole time she looked like she was having fun, but she played to the camera. She knows how to entertain. Her run was so fun. She's all pointing to the camera, screaming, flexing, yelling out. She was just so fun. And
she
I really
talks
like
to herself as she's running the course.
She was. It was so dope. Oh man, just like you can't watch her run without smiling, dude.
Yeah, she actually wasted a lot of time on the pipe hold early on, which caused a bit of concern in the time department. But like when she got up to that slip wall, I remember the first time I watched it, there was this feeling of, oh crap, there's like barely enough time. I need you to run really fast up this hill with this giant ball.
She did.
I mean, this ball weighs a lot of money, and it's really hard to bring up the hill. She started tackling this ball at 9 seconds left. The buzzer and the horn was already going off, or I guess the alarm, whatever, right?
Yeah.
And she still got up that hill with that heavy ball in less than the 9 seconds. I mean, this lady beast moded it.
0.8 seconds on the clock.
Yeah. I mean, she earned that buzzer.
And she was so happy when she cleared.
I was so happy.
So was I. I was like, great. I can't wait to see her continue on the course, and we did get to see that. Is there anyone else in the beginning part of this episode that you guys want to mention before we get to number 12? Because there's an incident there that I want to mention that was really odd.
The only one I want to mention is number 11, Reina, who went off course on the shaking bridge.
Yeah.
How embarrassed she looked when she pulled that. Just one of those, like, I can't believe I just did that sort of thing.
Yeah. And
Felt bad for her.
Special shout out to number 2, Seiko. You know, I'm just going to call her Seiko. And she's a TBS announcer, and, you know, she comes off, she kind of reminded me of the first time I saw Joe Morosky. I'm like, what's a weatherman doing on this course? And yet he kills it. Seiko actually did fairly well, and she comes from like a complete announcing position. She's a lot older than these other athletes, and she actually did respectably. I really enjoyed her running. And also a special shout out to number 4. If you guys watch it, you know what's up. Just say that. And number 3.
All right. Number 12 is
Call me.
Amy Inamura. And I have to say, of all the times I've ever seen anyone take any course of any kind, that is the first time I've seen someone stop to tie their shoe. That was an absolutely bizarre moment.
I mean,
yeah, that was one of those. What are you doing? Like, you don't have time to tie your shoe. Please start moving again.
Yeah, it was levels of cringe I can't even begin to describe. I'm like, wait, is she tying her shoe? Like, what could be going through your head to think that was a good idea?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, it reminded me of the last Tough Mudder championships, world championships, and we had a woman that her shoe kept, like, you know, falling off. So towards the end, she just kicks off her shoe and runs the rest of the course without a shoe on. And I was like, dope. You don't have time to tie your shoe. And this is much lower level in terms of danger than that particular run. And yet she's like, oh, willy-nilly tying her shoe. I'm like, dude, come on, man.
So continuing on, the next one I wanted to talk about was 21. Do you guys got anybody before that?
I would like to talk about number 20.
Okay, who's number 20?
That would be Yu Takahashi, the model. I just want to bring this up because kind of piggybacking off a point that you made a couple of weeks ago about the power of silence. She's the one where you see her eyeing up the fishbone, trying to get revenge on it from last time. And then her run starts, she gets on the rolling hill, and then she immediately rolls off the obstacle. And she lands in the water, and it's not that deep, so she lands feet first, and she's standing there. But you can tell right away she has that look of shock. Like, just complete shock. And she starts, like, talking to anyone who's, like, she has her eye on. Of basically just saying, like, did that just happen? Like, are you serious? That sort of stuff. And she's trying to play it off. And then they show the replay, and then it cuts back to her on the sideline afterwards, and she just lost it. Yeah. And I think that's a very powerful way to use emotion and the silence, because there's no, like, added noise and anything. There was, like, genuine shock in the crowd when she went out right away.
Yeah, not just that. I mean, as you alluded to, the emotion was there. And the point of the factor is that they really took their time explaining the entire story of what's going on. They showed the previous competition, so you knew she was taking it seriously. And this is one thing also. She's one of the first competitors I saw really taking this competition seriously in the beginning portion. And you could tell this meant a lot to her. She was focused on an obstacle later on, and it's one of those shock factors that just completely hit her, and you could see the disappointment on her face immediately. And you have that empathy with her, and just seeing her break down, it really, I guess, hit a lot. And it was a major tone shift in this episode, really. Because prior to her run, it was more of the fun, willy-nilly, a bunch of beginners running the course, kind of taking it semi-seriously, but not really. And then you see this, and it's just a whole different dynamic.
Yeah. I hope she comes back and she kills it next time.
Same, man.
Redemption's always the good storyline.
It's an easy storyline.
It is. Everyone can get on board for that. Next up on the course was at 21, Yuko Mizuno.
Yeah.
I really liked her. Before they even showed her running the course, I was on board. She's 35 years old. She just looks so serious. Showed her hitting a buzzer before. I was like, all right, now we're getting the competitors. Now we're getting someone. And she slipped off the bar in the double pendulum. I was like, no, I wanted to see you go further.
Yeah, Yuko Mizuno is one of the two, original Kunoichi competitors who are competing in this competition. In the past, she has made it to the final stage twice, and in the clip that they showed, she failed to hit the buzzer by less than 0.2 of a second.
Brutal, man.
So she was this close to being a champion, but unfortunately it eluded her, and she has yet to make it back to the final stage. And basically this is her getting another shot. She was actually number 50 in Kunoichi 9, but she went out early on the fishbone. So I guess the one consolation is that she did better this time around. But yeah, when she essentially was able to grab the bar, but she was off by just a centimeter. If she got a little bit higher, she would have had a better grip on it, but she slipped right off.
Yeah, and I appreciate the fact that they showed her before, because that was I remember, a hard moment. I think there's been twice in Kunoichi history where somebody's run stage 2 and they missed the buzzer by less than a second. And it's always hard to watch, but she was one of those heartbreaking moments where you always have that what if moment.
Yeah.
All right, so the next one I wanted to mention was number 23, Mo Miyahara. If I get that right. Someone actually training on ninja obstacles. It was actually kind of jarring. I was like, oh, wait. Oh, and she's using the Takeda method, apparently.
Yeah, I was so excited for this run when I saw her training on obstacles. I'm like, oh, okay, let's go. Maybe she's gonna be the next, Josh Levin or Morimoto. Who knows? But I see a lot of promise in her, honestly, because she takes this very seriously, and you can tell she's training. Technically, she was all there.
Yeah, she's literally an employee of Takeda, so that's where she gets the training from.
Yeah. It
helps when your boss is an all-star.
Yeah, they seem to give you a little bit of a leg up. It's weird how they kind of I don't know if a lot of this was advertising. This seemed the most blatant one, where they're holding up a banner up saying Takeda method. But a lot of them are wearing big logos and things. I don't know if those are deliberate or it's just they don't care about logos, so you can just wear whatever the heck you want. Any idea?
All I know is that they are a lot more lenient than A&W when it comes to what you can wear.
Gotcha.
I'm all for it. To be honest, so yeah.
Yeah, actually, as I was watching this, I thought that might be the way for, the ninjas to make some money and the show not having to shell anything out. Just let them start wearing logos. They can start being be like race car drivers. They can just have patches all over them and as they take the course.
That's in a conversation in itself.
Maybe we won't go there this episode. We'll save that for another time.
Maybe.
Okay, so...
I gotta talk about
32.
Mika if there's 32.
32?
That's 32.
Because
That's
I'm
what I had.
that.
Okay.
I don't know about you, but 32 we need to talk about.
Yep.
All right, let me give you a little backstory before we dive deep. So Mika Watanabe is the other original Kunoichi competitor competing in this competition. And she is officially the first woman in Sasuke history to make it up the warped wall.
Ooh.
To give you a little backstory.
Wow.
Yes. She's also a former final stage competitor in Kunoichi. However, she was close, but not quite.
She was the other one that missed it pretty much by a second. I mean, her hand was like almost there.
Yeah, she was very close too. Same competition actually. The two of them. At 38 years old, she is the oldest competitor in this particular competition.
I mean, she doesn't show her age, man.
She's a mom of two.
It's so cool. She does not show her age. She's so good.
No.
She reminds me a lot of Travis Rosen of the, like, older than the field, but so next level, like a high athlete, a high caliber athlete that it doesn't even show, And I don't know. I love this woman. Out of all the runs, I think I might have liked her runs the most, just because she's really schooling everybody in terms of athleticism and technique. There's one other person, of course, number 50, that I'm going to be talking about at the same level, but I really, really enjoyed this competitor.
Yeah, Mika's great. I've always been a fan of hers, and she's one of the oldest, longest running competitors, and not just oldest. And yeah, she cleared, and I was so happy when I saw that, because she deserves it. And while I'm thinking of it, what'd you guys think of the on-screen graphics when they cleared or failed the course? Because those are new.
What do you mean, like when they fail, it says retired all in big
words?
Yeah,
and when they clear, got the big clear on screen.
Yeah, I mean, I like it, honestly. Retire is a weird wording, but language barriers, maybe it means something differently.
It's a very Japanese term.
Yeah. But honestly, I like it. It's Japanese culture, like they're more boisterous, and all Japanese game shows are types of things, and I think it's quite fun, honestly.
Yeah, I also love the clear music that they have, because that's new in Kunoichi 9, but I just love that song.
Mm-hmm.
I found it a little strange. I actually did notice at points during the show that it's just covered in text. There's text in the top left, there's text in the bottom right. They subtitle the competitors, like they print, they give the subtitling, even though I assume it's in their native language, so I don't know why everybody's getting subtitled, but the announcers aren't. So it's just constant graphics, and it's just the clearing didn't stand out to me at all, just because there's so much else going on.
I'll just say it's very Japanese in its editing. I'll just say that.
Sure is.
The next one we have to mention, I guess, would be 36.
Yeah.
Sakiko Okabe? Am I close?
Sakiko Okabe, yeah.
Sakiko.
Gymnast / coach, from what I could see, cleared. I didn't really have a whole lot to say. It was just a good run.
Yeah, unfortunately, I feel like of the women who cleared, she kind of got lost in the shuffle. But yeah, no, she's technically good, and yeah, she's good.
Yeah, that's the best way to describe it. She was there. She passed. In terms of a story presented, not much there. Really, the story of her run was, Aya's coming up soon. We'll talk about that.
Great transition. Why don't you take it here, Bijan? Number 40, Aya.
Oh, boy. Well, I'm sure Will is going to have all the backstory, but first of all, this woman was all over this show. I mean, out of all of these Sasuke's and Ninja Warriors, they usually feature a few people that they just feature all over the show. Aya was on. If a competitors are not running, and even oftentimes when they are running, Aya is still in one little bubble or a graphic in the corner or something. Every reaction, you better believe they're going to get Aya's reaction to every run. She's, I'm not one to judge, but she is a beautiful, strong, athletic woman who's next level in the CrossFit world. I mean, we are seeing her do next level fitness things and training. And I'm sure I have to imagine she is a superstar in Japan or very popular. But man, imagine they got a celebrity and they just played it to death. Io would be that person. I loved her like she was very respectful. It was never apparent from her or anything, but I feel like she was incredibly over edited from a production standpoint. That said, I can only, discredit them so much because Aya was awesome on this. I really like the fact that she's new to this sport, and yet she can still get by her pure athleticism. This woman is, very rarely do I say this, but she is at the Jessie Graff level of just like muscle on muscle in terms of fitness. There's a very popular viral video right now of Jessie Graff doing these holds and going up, and people are talking about the fact that Jessie Graff has quote unquote a six-pack on her back because she's so muscular. This woman is just so incredibly fit in the same way, and man, it was cool to see. Kind of a hot mess in terms of technique, but she's getting by just the same.
Yeah, she got through basically on pure athleticism. You could see, she wasn't exactly smooth on the course. So I was really curious to see how far she would go.
In many ways, it made it fun, though. She's not the same willy-nilly as everybody else. Let's see somebody just, get by just based on the fact that they are just next-level athlete. I loved it. Will, I have to hear your thoughts on her.
So, the entire time before you got up to her run, I'm just thinking, who is this woman? I literally have no idea who she is. And eventually I did the research, and yeah, I imagine I found the same things that you found. But yeah, she's a CrossFit instructor / CrossFit Games competitor. She has a big social media following, which is probably why she got featured so much. And she has workout programs that you can buy that are available in English. So if you're that interested, you can buy her ebook, I guess.
Well, there we go.
Yeah.
Well, I gotta say, at this point, this was about the halfway point, and it was getting very, very monotonous to me. I gotta say, this was the point where I was like, okay, I was guessing. I don't know if I somehow knew that there was only 50 competitors, because I guess because they kept showing, I didn't see any numbers flashing up that were higher than 50. So I was very grateful that we only had 10 more to go, because I don't know, it just kind of dragged on for me at this point. It was getting super repetitive. There was a lot of people, even at this high of a stage, just falling early, not looking, very confident on the course. I'm like, I can't take much more of this. We really need to get to the next stage.
Well, you say a lot of people are failing early, but the double pendulum took out more people than any other obstacle.
Mm-hmm.
But we're not talking, I guess the failures on that, though, are not missing the dismount. It's completely missing the bar still, even at this high in the numbering order.
Yeah. The trampoline was the biggest obstacle.
And that's the problem, guys. I hate the fact any obstacle that requires a big distance of a trampoline, I understand there's some athleticism involved with that, but in my opinion, it's still really cheap. We want to see the competitors tackle the obstacle and get by for a pure reason. I guess in many ways it felt cheap to me. I hate the fact that we're still seeing on these game shows a huge portion of the field failing just because they didn't get a big enough jump. I don't know. I hate it.
I got no problem with it personally, but that's just me.
Yeah, I don't mind them, generally speaking, if the distance is fair. I really feel like the propeller bar in A&W in the past has been too far for the shorter competitors, one in particular.
Yeah.
But but we are definitely not going there.
So, no, let's not cross that bridge.
But we have two more finishers to discuss. Was there anybody else in the 40s other than the
48.
last two? You want to talk about 48? Okay, who was it?
All right, that is Ayano Oshima. Just to give you a quick backstory, the three final women of the red stage all cleared the red stage previously in Kunoichi 9. The other two didn't compete again, so I don't know what happened to them. But basically, Ayano is one of the few women to actually beat the warped wall in Sasuke, which is part of the reason why she's on this show to begin with. And she actually had the fastest time on the red stage in Kunoichi 9. Unfortunately, when transferring from the bar to the second pendulum of the double pendulum, she didn't get a good enough distance, and her arms just completely missed the barrel, and she went into the water. So that was actually a pretty surprising failure in that regard.
Yeah, it was brutal. I saw the clips of her on Sasuke 9, so I was really excited to see her run, and her entire run, she was doing great. So I just had it in my mind, oh yeah, she's killing it, she's doing great. And her failing there, it was tough. And I could see the disappointment on her face also with it. It's just one of those freak accident things, but this is the way I'd rather see somebody fail an obstacle rather than missing a damn trampoline. Not over it yet, y'all.
Well, we had two more competitors. At 49, we had Kana Watanabe.
Yes.
Oh, she's awesome. Wait,
judo, apparently? It seems to be...
Judo champion.
She's a judo champion, okay.
Yeah.
Like Ronda Rousey.
And she can kick all our butts.
Oh, she could.
No doubt.
Like,
yeah, you can...
She can put both her hands tied behind her back and still find a way to beat the living daylights out of me. I mean, this woman is powerful.
Yeah, she was really strong, and like the strongest we had seen to that point, like for a joke, like just completely stood out among the field.
Well, look how fast she did the cannonball at the end.
Yeah, she made it look like a joke.
That's really all you got to say is like as far as how strong she is. She pushed it up like it was no problem.
Mm-hmm. Not just that. I mean, the entire run. If certain people have different like strategies in approaches to the course, right? Some people are very technical. Some people are just very fast. Some people get by their gymnastics and stuff. She got by raw power. When she went up the slip wall, she used her leg power to just like march up that thing. When she was swinging on the pendulum, she really had a really big kip up at the last moment. When she did the cannonball, she hurled that cannonball up that hill. I mean, her approach to this course is all about power, and it's a really fun, dynamic approach that we don't see very often, and I loved every second of it. I mean, every time she ran this entire, season, I loved every second of it.
See, I thought you were going to really favor the last person, Hikari Izumi.
I will.
Because she was a very stark contrast in that respect, because she had that Joe Moravsky intellectual approach to the course that I absolutely loved. I thought she was amazing.
Incredibly technical.
Well, she's a parkour specialist. Is like her entire specialty is knowing how to approach obstacles in the most efficient way possible.
I mean, it shows.
I would explain it because she did. She had almost 20 seconds left on the clock. Like there's no one else that even came close to that.
And the amazing thing is that you asked me, oh, why did she have so much time on the clock? I couldn't tell you like any sort of special technique other than that she was just fast. She was fast in everything that she did, and that's why she had 19 and a half seconds left.
And that's why I would compare her to Joe, because he never looks like he's rushing. She didn't either. It wasn't like she looked like she was sprinting. She had that smooth ease through the whole thing, just no problems, and just made it look easy.
Yeah, there was no struggle or anything. She just was very dynamic in her approach to the course, and very, very fun to see, especially on this particular episode or season or whatever you want to call it, just because it was such a drastic difference from all the other competitors. And it's not really the competitors' fault, it's just that we have a whole lot of people that are running for the first time on this type of show, but we see her just being so smooth in everything she does. It was so different and so fun from the rest of the field.
It was kind of cool on the first stage, but stage 2 and 3 is where she really shines, and I can't wait to get to those runs.
Yeah.
Okay. Also, she's only 21.
I noticed that.
That hits. Yeah, I was like, whoa. Like, what is the age limit for Kunoichi? Because we saw her in previous seasons get all the way to stage 4.
It's so. Oh God, they might have changed it, but I know in the past they've had females as young as 9 compete on the course.
You're joking.
I am not.
Whoa.
Well,
Yeah,
Rachel Brown, get on Kunoichi.
Yeah, pretty much. I know Sasuke, I think it's like 13 and Kunoichi was like 9. They might have bumped it up for this version of Kunoichi, but I mean, you had 15-year-olds competing on the course, so
Yeah.
it's at least 15, possibly younger.
All right. So let's move on to the second stage here, the blue stage. There were 6 people.
Immediately.
Yes.
They slide right into the blue stage. I like that.
Yeah.
I like the way they edit that in.
Not that, though. Not just that. I have to say, I love this stage.
It's pretty cool. The slide walk was the first obstacle. Sorry, I'll run through the obstacles. I don't know if I can even describe some of these, but we'll try here.
Well, I mean, you've seen like 4 of the 5 obstacles when you were on the final stage podcast. I'm just saying.
Well, So the slide walk was, oh boy. Well, why don't you take? You've described these before. You go ahead. Let's hear your take on how do you describe the slide walk.
Okay, so the first obstacle of stage 2 of Sasuke that currently the current version.
Most of our listeners do not.
No, they do not.
Okay, well, that is a good point. Okay, these 2 obstacles debuted at like almost the exact same time, so that's why they're like this. But basically, slide walk is imagine a ring with a big bar hanging from it, and the ring is hanging on a giant cable. And on the bottom of the bar is another ring. So it's 2 rings attached by a bar. There's 2 pairs of these things hanging from the cables. You have to stand on them, slide your way down, but midway through the track, there are the stoppers in the middle of the cable that you have to lift the bar up and over to get to the other side.
Yeah, and the key to this particular obstacle is the stop gap in the middle of it and these cables. Very wobbly by the fact that you're putting your weight down on one side, so it's really hard to lift the other side up because the spring or cable is also going to lift up with it. So it was very tricky for a lot of people, and I really like that. In many ways, I prefer this particular version of the obstacle more than the Sasuke version.
Really?
I do, yeah.
Yeah, I think I do too.
I'm surprised.
Yeah, I kind of do.
Wow.
I thought it was really cool. And maybe because, I don't know, maybe it was because of the competitors we saw doing it. I hadn't even pieced it together with the other one, to be honest, because I just wasn't paying close enough attention, I guess. But no, I liked it. I thought it was cool. It was an interesting obstacle. A very different way to start it off, I thought.
Yeah, it's an old trick that Sasuke and Kunoichi used to do, and they're still doing it today, is that both shows will get the same obstacle around the same time, but like one version is different from the other. So, saves R&D.
Yeah. And in many ways, I'm cool with it.
Right after that, they had to face the spider walk, which is basically a jumping spider without the jumping. Goran Hammer, which is just basically...
AKA the hammer dodge.
Hammer dodge. Yeah, so basically just dodge the hammers that are swinging by as you have to run across. Nothing too fancy.
It's an original Sasuke Stage 2 obstacle from the very beginning of Sasuke. In fact, everything except for the slide walk was in the original Stage 2 version of Sasuke. They borrowed heavily from that.
Nice.
I think there's a reason we don't have that in Sasuke anymore. Not a fan.
They had the reverse conveyor, but it looked harder than the Sasuke one, like with that low wall over it.
Yeah. So the roof on the Kunoichi version is way lower than the one in Sasuke.
Mm-hmm.
In Kunoichi, you basically have to do an army crawl on a conveyor belt.
Yeah, it looked very difficult. As you guys said, it's kind of shades of Spartan Race or any other mud runs where you have to do an army crawl under a netting, but there's a conveyor belt, and it's really tricky for these competitors. Now, I'm guessing it's going to be a little bit slower than the one on Sasuke, because Sasuke's was so fast, but it makes up for the fact that it's so low, and this was really cool, because it's playing to the strengths of women and the flexibility and the dynamics there, and I don't know, I really liked their approach to this obstacle.
Yeah, I liked it better. Definitely. I thought it made it so much more visually difficult, and I don't know, I just liked it. I thought having that low ceiling made a lot of sense.
Oh, the Kunoichi version is so much better.
Yeah.
It's not even an argument, in my opinion.
Yeah. And then the wall lift to end it all.
Yeah.
The visually dynamic, so exciting wall lift.
Yeah. So
I've always been a big fan of wall lift. I like what they did with this one, where you can physically see the differences in weight as represented by the amount of beads in each wall. I like that.
I just like the fact that, it slowly slides down when you let go rather than it just like putting all of its weight down on your back, because that always horrified me in the older seasons.
Yeah, they stopped doing that.
A little smart.
Yeah. So first to take the course was our old friend Reika Seiki.
Are you sure it wasn't Aya? Because boy, did they show her even before anybody else.
She got hung up on that slide walk and timed out on the first obstacle. Is that the first time anyone's ever timed out on the first obstacle of a stage?
Yeah, probably. I have no idea what happened. I don't know how she managed to do that. I've rewatched this run many times trying to figure out how she could not get that left ring over the stopper. And I do not have an answer. I don't know what happened. Maybe she just panicked and it just got worse and worse and she panicked more, but I don't know what happened. It's so baffling and really disappointing. I was really pulling for her.
Yeah, it's tricky because you know what to do. I mean, there's only so many approaches you can take to this obstacle, but it's hard to see somebody struggle with that. In many ways, it kind of is shades of, when I see somebody like struggle so heavily on maybe the Tarzan swing and stuff like that from American Ninja Warrior, but this was a little bit even worse by the fact that in the Tarzan rope swing or in other opening obstacles, there's different facets to why somebody can struggle. With this, the approach is there, just bear down on one side and lift up on the other, but she just couldn't get it done.
Yeah, it was unfortunate. But, she was awesome. Really, one of the main reasons I would watch Kunoichi again was to see her again, so I hope she does come back.
Yeah.
Next to take the course was Mika.
Yeah.
She really struggled with that same first obstacle, but she did manage to get over it and end up timing out on the conveyor, unfortunately.
Yeah, that was disappointing.
It was hard because I'm such a huge fan of hers, and she was doing really well, but her run really exemplified the fact that, once again, timer was a huge factor in the course. And in many ways, Stage 2, the time limit was insane. They had a very short span of time to do this. Yeah, 25 seconds to do this course, and when you guys watch it, it's tough to get past all of these in 75 seconds. And, I mean, I appreciate the fact that it exemplified how hard it was, but it sucks that it had to be her that was the person to show it, because I don't know. Just imagine somebody that you've been a fan of for such a long time, and they're the one that fails. It's tough.
Yeah, it's this might be a bit controversial saying it on this podcast, but I like this philosophy of how to do a second stage more than what A&W has been doing lately, in which faster time limit, faster pace. Just my personal preference.
Yeah.
I found this stage to be very exciting to watch personally. And I kind of wish A&W would ease up on doing the big, overblown, super tough, upper body obstacles on stage 2. You can do that on stage 3. I got no problem with that. But, maybe ease up a bit on stage 2. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, I mean, in many ways, it's not very controversial. I always feel that sentiment. I mean, in many ways, I felt like the wedge should have been on stage 3.
Yeah.
And yeah, the fact, and we've said it before, but the fact that they had a 4-minute time limit this season on stage 2 was pretty ridiculous. I always
absurd.
appreciate the fact that the time limit is a huge factor in stage 1 and 2 with Sasuke, and I think American Ninja Warrior can learn somewhat from that still.
Yeah, personally, I'm cool with it not having a strict time limit. I think there should be a time limit. I like to see stage 2 not be so much driven by it. And I don't know, I feel like I've always felt like it needed a better niche, right? Stage 1, very clear. Stage 3, very clear. Stage 2 is this weird hybrid, and I feel like if they can kind of focus it on gymnastics, like laches and things like that, I feel like that's a good niche for it, right? Parkour, gymnastics, rock climbing, right? The core skills you need to be a ninja.
Well said, man.
Yeah, I guess. I don't know if I necessarily agree with like having a bunch of laches in stage 2, just because I think ANW glorifies the lache a bit much, but yeah, that's just me.
Yeah, it doesn't have to be laches, but I feel like going from what Rich is saying, I feel like there is opportunities to implement more forms of gymnastics or types of things like that. Doesn't have to be laches, but I feel like stage 2 can be something where the time limit matters with the factors of using more core and upper body control with leg power. In many ways, stage 2 can be something where, hey, put in the swimming whatever thingy from Sasuke that everybody hates. I love it. Like, use different forms of body type and skills in stage 2. There's still much more opportunity to introduce new things.
Please don't do that, ANW.
Oh, please do it.
Yeah.
No, don't.
Yes.
Please don't.
It'll be interesting.
I will not watch the show if you put the backstream in ANW. I'm just saying.
They're gonna add another wingnut on next year, probably.
Oh, Jesus. You know what? I'll take that over the backstream. Okay, whatever.
All right.
Bring the backstream.
No. Bring anything else. I don't care.
Bring like a high-powered jet at the end of the backstream too. Make it like super impossible, and just see people like swimming for their dear lives trying to get past that thing. I'd love it.
All right, getting back
That's
to
coming from
Kunoichi.
someone that can't swim either. So
Yeah. We'll take a look back here. We've got Sakiko taking the course, the gymnast coach, who didn't get a whole lot of love the first time around. Ended up timing out. She got tripped up on that slide walk as well. She made good time afterwards, but she just ended up timing out on the wall lift, proving that the time limit definitely was a big factor.
yeah, the only thing I have to say about this run was the giant graphic during her entire run. And what was that graphic, guys, of?
Would it be Aya?
It sure would. Boy, are they like, hey, we'll get past this, y'all, but Aya's next. Stay tuned.
They do the same thing in Sasuke. Like they really like letting you know that Kenji Darvish is coming up and
Yeah.
ABC. I really gotta look up what his real name is because that's just so awkward to say.
It is.
Could
you imagine if they did that for Casey Catanzaro or somebody though? Like,
dude,
oh boy,
dude. I don't know if you, dude. I would fly off the handle in one of my videos if they did that.
Don't put it past them. Do not put it past them.
Well, she's gone, so they can't do it.
Yeah.
So
They can do it with Megan and Jesse, though.
You know what? They're not Casey, so I'll forgive them, just because they haven't overblown like those women yet.
Yeah, give them time.
Yeah.
No, don't get me wrong. I fully expect them to do it, but at least the first year I'd be forgiving.
And to be fair, it's pretty earned with those particular athletes. They still do well. So.
Oh yeah, no, totally. I totally get that, but it's a lot like eating ice cream. A little bit of ice cream is good. You have too much ice cream, and you're absolutely sick of it.
Oh yeah.
Okay, so next up on the course was who again? Number 40?
Let's do it.
That would be AYA.
AYA. She made good time on the slide walk. She showed that it could be done.
Wait, you don't want to talk about the 5-minute long pretty feeling like intro video that they had for her? Like, how long was this video?
I don't know.
Probably a full minute.
Yeah, it was long.
Felt like 5.
She made good time at the beginning, and then she started going much slower on the next obstacles. I was getting like, oh, come on. Like, you get past the part that was tripping everybody else up. You got to move. She had 10 seconds left of the wall lift, and I thought she was done. I thought there's no way she was getting through that wall lift that quickly.
I thought she was. I thought she was also done. Yeah.
She had 0.19 seconds to spare, so she proved us wrong.
Yeah, it was cool.
Dove for that button.
She did, and I have to give her all the props in the world. As somebody that is completely new to everything they're doing, she did phenomenal. I mean, we got to give her props where it's due. And it was a very engaging, fun run. Once again, technique's kind of a hot mess, but she was getting through it, and I don't know, it made for some great suspense. Not only that, I believe she was the first one to hit the buzzer, right? So,
Yep.
I mean, you have that
stage,
extra huge thing for that. Like, hey, somebody actually completed stage 2. Good on her.
I like it when the first clear of a stage has like no time left.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
always a fun one.
Couldn't have been scripted better.
And-
It's perfect.
Nope.
So next was Kana, who got through it. She had a decent time going through. She flew through that conveyor. Absolutely crushed that conveyor.
Yep.
And had 9.7 seconds left at the end of it. Like, I was really impressed. I thought, there's no way that Hikari is going to beat that. Like, she is not going to come close to that time.
Little did you know.
Little did I know that Hikari is next level.
Yeah, but before we go on to that, I mean, I have to just... This one was so good. As you said, she was so powerful. Like, her approach, once again, is power. Going through that conveyor, she used her knees and arms to fling herself forward. And when she went to those walls, the wall lifts, she didn't just, like, lift it up halfway or something. She raised it all the way up and, like, threw it up there. And she did it to all three. I mean, she is so powerful and strong. It was so awesome to see her do that. She is just, I don't know, she's so fun and so different from the field. I loved it.
Yeah, she was awesome. Definitely deserves a lot of respect for how she crushed the course. And like I said, I expected that would be it. I was like, well, if there was a palm, that was it, right? Like, she's got it on lock. But oh my god, I just love this next run because we have this obstacle, that first obstacle, as we mentioned, the slide walk, and it was tripping them up, and the last two competitors kind of got it figured out. They were able to maneuver their way through it. And she comes bouncing down the track, just bouncing along, and skips over the obstacle, basically. Like, made it look like a fun party ride. Like, it was nothing. It was absolutely hilarious. I loved that moment, and I'm going to give you guys the rest of the run. Will cover the rest of it because I love that moment.
Yeah, so that moment was so great because you can hear everyone's reaction of, wait, well, hold on, what? You can do that? I don't know if you caught this because it's only there for a brief second, but as she's approaching the spider walk, she has this smile on her face as if she's thinking, yeah, that worked exactly as I hoped. She went through the rest of the course at a very steady pace, and because she didn't need to rush, she had so much time left. She finished with 17 seconds left on the clock.
Yeah, it was fantastic, and just once again, she changes the way you see obstacles. The way she does bounce, she figured out an obstacle that was a lot of people were struggling with, and she found another way to tackle it and made it look easy. And I love these types of approaches. Fantastic and so technical. I don't know what to say. She was so fast, made it look easy, y'all.
Yeah, and it's not that she skipped the obstacle either. It's that she, it still required skill. She still had to time her bounces right. She still used her athleticism to beat it, just in a unique way. I just thought that was one of my favorite. That was right up there with like Kevin Bull on Cannonball Alley. Like, that was so cool. I loved it.
I would say I joked that she essentially broke the obstacle because she found the perfect solution to getting past those stoppers. She barely even touched those things.
Yeah, yeah. She nearly broke it. It might be very easy to do, but I have a sense that timing your jumps to make sure that you're hitting them right might actually be trickier than she made it look.
It's possible, but I would not be surprised if that obstacle gets replaced next tournament, because the course designers are just like, well, we can't have everyone doing that. It'll completely
Right.
It'll completely ruin the time limit aspect of the stage.
I mean, I can see them make the little ring things that the stopgaps a little bit bigger, maybe.
Possibly.
Or put multiple ones in there.
That's possible too.
Ugh. That'd be rough. Too many people struggled on it.
Oh god, it would be Reika's worst nightmare.
Yeah, for real though.
Yeah.
All right, so moving on to the black stage, the third stage.
Black stage. I love the fact that it's called the black stage. I like the design, the black and yellow. I love that. And I don't know if you caught this because it's very easy to miss, but the yellow is glow in the dark.
Oh,
Okay, I did not see that.
Yeah. So when they're on stage 2, they actually basically all the spotlights were turned off on the red stage, and you can see all that yellow trimming, all those yellow graphics. They all glow. It was I barely even caught it, but if you manage to catch it, it looks really cool.
That's dope.
Yeah.
visually this is very cool, and I think proves that an indoor course is very viable. I wish A&W would kind of take a page. It's one of the few things Ninja Warrior UK did right.
Well, I can see why they don't, just because, I mean, money-wise, it's going to cost them a lot of money to have an indoor, I guess, course because, I mean, maybe Vegas Finals, right? That's somewhere where they can do it, but they'd have to find indoor courses and set all that up for each region, which is asking a whole lot of them. But I guess I could see that in the Vegas Finals.
Well, for the
biggest problem,
Northeast would be... Sorry, I was just going to say that it would be an opportunity to put it in the Northeast, like further Northeast, like Connecticut, where there's a lot of ninja gyms, for example, right? You can do it earlier.
Or Long Island.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm just saying, like, you know, there just might be some people who live on Long Island, you know. We just rebuilt Nassau Coliseum, you know. I'm not saying that I live relatively close to that, you know, area or anything like that, you know. I'm just saying, if you really want to.
Hey,
Plus, you don't have to film at night, if you know.
I'm only asking them to move it within like an 8-hour drive of me. I mean, how close do you need it? Seriously.
I'm very selfish, okay?
Yeah, at this rate, why don't we have a San Diego and an LA, region?
But yeah, so
That's a fail of a joke.
a little bit.
Yeah, no, I understood. I understood it. I got it, Bijan. I got you. It was great. Good job.
All right, so let's actually talk about the course again. We are in a very, very long episode at this point.
2-hour podcast.
No. See, you're a bad influence. That's what it is. I'm totally blaming you. We've got the...
What, me?
Yeah, you. When your 20-minute time limit that goes 30, 40 minutes.
Yeah, that basically just became a running joke.
But this course, so stage 3, I don't even know what to call this one. The first obstacle is listed on Sasukepedia as Propeller Untai.
Propeller bars.
Propeller bars. It's a little different than the propeller bar we see in Vegas, though, because it's 3 of them and they're motorized.
Yeah, this was another one of those classic Sasuke obstacles, originally introduced in Sasuke 1, actually. So yeah, they brought it for Kunoichi. This is its Kunoichi debut. And the parallel bars, it's not necessarily an obstacle that's going to take people out. It's more like something that's going to tire and possibly frustrate you with the timing.
Mm-hmm. I mean,
but
it's imagine a super long, maybe minute to 2 minute dead hang while trying to traverse different things. I mean, it's made at the very beginning of the course that's very tiring, like exclusively on your forearms and your grip more than anything else, and you're doing an intense dead hang, and that's really what this is. It plays a major factor in the obstacles leading up to or following it, and I don't know, I kind of like it, to be honest with you. I could see where it's kind of lame visually or whatever, but I don't know, I understood its reasoning for being there, and I think it worked.
I thought it was pretty brutal, and the timing is everything, right? So you could see them really struggling with that as we get into it here. But following that, they had the arm bike, which basically, like, imagine a pedal system hanging from a rope, and then you just got to spin the pedals with your hands.
If you've ever seen American Gladiators, you know exactly what this obstacle is.
Mm-hmm. And we've seen it on Sasuke also, right? Well.
Yes. It originally debuted in Sasuke 4, and it was on there for a little bit.
Yeah.
But, you know, American Gladiators did it first, I'm just saying.
I used to love that show, but I didn't follow it as closely as I'm sure you did.
I love American Gladiators, but that's another conversation.
When was that show on?
The original series debuted in '89, I believe, and ran for 7 seasons, I believe.
That's probably why I never watched the original, because I'm like, huh?
Yeah. And then the remake was on NBC back in 2007? 7.
Yeah.
7 or 8. 2008, actually. 2008. And that's where Evan Dollard made his TV debut. And it was not as good as the original, but it was still good.
No, I remember that, though. I remember the wolf guy. I forget his name, but, that's another tangent,
Wolf.
but it was cool.
His name was literally Wolf.
Wolf. It was cool.
The only name I can think of off the top of my head was Nitro from back in the day.
Yeah, Nitro School.
But yeah, that'll be off-season coverage coming up. We'll do season 1 of American Gladiators.
Skip to the second half of season 1. That's when the budget kicks in.
Oh, okay. But yeah, so anyway, after the arm bike, we had Sponge Bridge, which I love that obstacle. That is a cool obstacle that I'd love to see how some of the A&W competitors would handle it. Because I feel like balance obstacles on A&W are always like, just run at it as fast as you possibly can and just pray to God you make it over the other side. I don't think you can do that with this one.
I mean,
No.
It's going to be hard.
No.
But this is really a hallmark of Kunoichi. I mean, I don't know if maybe it was on the first season, but I feel like I've seen this many times on Kunoichi, and I always like this obstacle.
That is, yeah, it's I believe it debuted in Kunoichi 3 when it converted to the 3-stage format.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, sorry, 4-stage format. But yeah, it was a staple of Kunoichi.
Oh, and I just realized I didn't describe it for those that didn't see it. So the Sponge Bridge is basically, imagine walking along like 20 dominoes. Yeah, like basically it. So you have to very carefully pick your way across. If you tried to run too fast, it's going to just go out from underneath you. So it is a true balance obstacle and a tough, long one.
It's fun because when you're watching it, like, you can't, like, I don't know, my heart's racing. I have so much anxiety watching them because we've seen in the past few seasons, this obstacle, you make one small little, like, mistake and you are falling right there and your season's over. I mean, this obstacle, you have to take your time and it really builds that anxiety and that suspense. And I just love everything about it.
Yep, and another good use of silence, as I did mention before, that they don't pump in crowd noise. It is just everybody's holding their breath as they're picking their way across. And you've got 5 different cameramen. I don't know why I was watching the cameramen for one of them. It's just like all these cameramen are just intently watching as they're picking their way across. It must be distracting in some ways as you're trying to make sure that you place your feet properly. You've got these guys in front of you and down on both sides and every angle, and there's spinning cameras around you. Like, this is one of those obstacles I would think would require very intense focus, and it must be distracting in some ways.
I would find that random one guy screaming at the competitors as very distracting. I don't know if he's part of the show or not, but every single time there's complete silence, but every once in a while there's this one guy that keeps shouting out something, and I'm just like, shut up! They're trying to focus.
And then some familiar territory comes after this. We have a cliffhanger obstacle, and then a pipe slider.
So, okay, I got a little bit of factoid for the cliffhanger for you. So, as they mentioned on the show, the Sasuke version of the cliffhanger is 3-centimeter ledges, and the Kunoichi version is 4-centimeter. Mm-hmm. Now, I'm not saying that the Kunoichi version is harder than the A&W version, because it's not. But the ledges on the A&W version are 5 centimeters.
Yeah.
Interesting.
When you do the conversion from inches to centimeters, it's actually a little bit more than 5 centimeters. So, interesting difference in ledge size. And as for the pipe slider, I know Rich was interested in seeing what the pipe slider looked like in Sasuke. Well, now you get to see it in Kunoichi.
Yeah.
And
I forgot what it looked like. As soon as I saw it, I was like, oh yeah, I remember that thing now. That's totally
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So pipe slider, this is actually its Kunoichi debut in this tournament. And when I saw how far the jump is at the end, I'm just like, oh no. Oh no. That's a big jump. Okay. I don't know if you guys know this, but the pipe slider is literally my favorite obstacle in all of Ninja Warrior.
Really?
Yes. I wish A&W would replace the flying bar with the pipe slider.
Oh
because...
God, no.
No,
Dude, they had it for a few years, and I don't know. Ugh.
I know. No, because, like, here's the thing. That jump is so tough because you have to generate forward momentum without generating backwards momentum.
Yep.
Because of the low friction of the bar. Go watch the finals of the National Ninja League this year, the final stage, which had a pipe slider in it. Many people made it to the pipe slider. Most of them failed, including people like Jake Murray and Joe Morosky.
Mm-hmm.
It is a tough jump. It is a very difficult jump, but it's that dismount, that all or nothing dismount that I love so much about the pipe slider, because there is no guarantees with that obstacle. And you are waiting in anticipation every time someone makes it to that obstacle. It's great. I love it.
Yeah, I understand, and I enjoy it also, but I can't co-sign to the fact that it's like one of the greats, right? I understand the point of the forward momentum and not the backward momentum. I think ANW in the past few seasons have found obstacles that have a similar dynamic of having to generate forward momentum without doing backwards momentum just a little bit better.
I don't know. The flying bar is so visually dynamic. I think it's just a great way to bookend stage 3. I would hate to see it go.
Don't get me wrong. I love the flying bar also, but like I said, pipe slider is my favorite obstacle. So
yeah,
we've all got our phase, man.
Yep, definitely do. All right, so let's take a look at these actual runs here, because first to take the course was Aya. She got hung up on.
Get her out of the way.
What's that?
Get her out of the way.
Yeah.
Don't have to advertise her anymore.
She got hung up on the bars for quite a while.
They'll still find a way, bro.
Yeah. So she was like really struggling to find the timing for those bars, and it's weird because I'm used to seeing when they take an obstacle they can't go back onto the platform, but they were doing that constantly, like trying to readjust.
Yeah, Sasuke and Kunoichi don't have that rule.
Oh, okay.
I'm cool with it.
But she did manage to make it through eventually. She did kind of figure it out. The sponge bridge was really intense to watch. That was our first view of it, or my first view of it anyway.
And she took her time. I mean, once again, that suspense. It's so many people are used to obstacles where it just takes maybe like 5 seconds and they're done and everything. This one, they're really, really taking their time. As you guys have alluded to, the silence really makes an impact. It was very, very dynamic to watch.
Yeah. It's a shame they don't have enough room to bring back the original version of that obstacle from Kunoichi, because the original version was like triple the length.
Yeah,
Oh,
and there were
wow.
higher dominoes too, I think, right?
Yeah, it was called Domino Hill, and like as you would go further through the obstacle, they would get higher in height, so they're more unstable.
Yeah.
But they just don't have the room. That's the downside of filming indoors, is that you're very limited in how much you can actually fit.
Mm-hmm. In many ways, in my opinion, it was kind of like the cliffhanger. It was the big ninja killer of the stage.
Yeah, I can see that. I mean, it did take out 4 of the 5 competitors in Kunoichi 9, so
Yeah.
Yeah, she did a great job, but she did go out on the cliffhanger transition, unfortunately.
Oh, we got to talk about that. Once again, Aya, she's fantastic physically and everything. If you watch her do this cliffhanger, it just shows how much of a newbie she is and how much of a hot mess she was technically. She has her arms fully extended down doing the entire cliffhanger, and I'm just screaming like, oh boy, you're going to have a tough time with that upward transition, and how are you not just wearing out your arms? I mean, that is such the wrong way to do the cliffhanger, but, good on her for getting that far.
Yeah, it was good on her, but when I knew she was done as soon as she started the cliffhanger, because she did that thing that, like, I guess less able competitors do, where they try to hold on to the starting platform as long as they can as they go through the obstacle. And as soon as I saw she was doing that, I'm like, there's no way she's making the transition. And I was right.
Yeah. So next to take the course after her was Kana, and she also struggled with the bars, the propeller bars. Just couldn't quite figure it out.
It's a timing thing, man.
Yeah, the timing was really odd on them too, right? It was very deliberately set that way, obviously, but
yeah.
They get the shame bell ready, because when she goes to transition, the spot where the last competitor fell, did they cut to a commercial like right at that moment. Like that is absolutely ridiculous.
Dude, they do.
Rough.
That's just how they edit the show. You know, in Kunoichi 9, when Hikari was doing the final stage, basically just imagine 3, 2, 1, go, commercial. That's just how they do it. That's how they always have done it, and that's just how they do it.
Brutal. But she did manage to beat the cliffhanger, but she couldn't make the transition off the pipe slider, unfortunately. That was just too hard to do. Like you said, trying to get that forward momentum without any backward momentum is just tough.
I really like the fact that the pipe slider is here, and I feel like it is a very welcome addition to the stage. I feel like they need something very, very difficult at the very end of stage 3, because one thing about Kunoichi kinda is the fact that we do get a whole lot of people making it to stage 4 typically in these seasons. I do like the fact that with this addition, they're really, really going to have to earn getting to stage 4.
Yeah, they're not going to make it easy on them.
Nope. But if there is anybody that's going to make it look easy, that is the last runner of the night, Hikari Izumi, who...
Yeah.
Oh my God, like right off the bat again, the part where they were struggling with the propeller bars, she made that look so simple. She's dangling from one arm, just waiting for it to come around, getting the timing perfect almost. Like, unbelievable. She is so head and shoulders above everybody else. It was so cool to watch.
Yeah.
She probably just looked, and I think the problem is that the other two, I think what happened was they're like, all right, and here they go. They're about to start, and they immediately grab the bar. Hikari was like, all right, I'm going to wait. I'm going to look for the timing. Look for my opening. And I think that was the biggest difference.
Yeah.
Yeah, huge difference. She had no problems with, the other obstacles either, but she just couldn't make that transition off the pipe slider. Like, it was a little frustrating because I thought she had it, right? She was so smooth right up to that point, and I thought she's going to be able to do this. There's no way she's not going to, but I was wrong.
Yeah, with that said, though, I mean, she had an intense struggle getting there, and it was fun because she spent a long time, like, kipping up and then, like, sliding backwards, right, on that pipe slider, and then kipping up again, building momentum, and then at the last second on her final swing, going backwards. It was really a struggle, and it was very dynamic to watch, and I don't know, she got one foot on the platform, but just couldn't get her body, over that padding to make that I guess forward momentum, and it sucks. But in many ways, it was a fantastic ending to Kunoichi 10, and I don't know. I really enjoyed her. I really hope to see some of the older, really good dynamic competitors from seasons past back on in Kunoichi 11. Yeah, the story of this competition really was the fact that there was a small pocket of competitors that were head and shoulders above the rest of the field. Typically in other Sasuke's or ANW's, it's kind of, we have the competitors that are there just for notoriety's sake, and then we have a whole slew of legit athletes that are at least somewhat dynamic in their approach to the course. With this, very small group of people that really, really took over this course, and I feel like we can get a little bit better of a number of people that are really taking this course seriously.
Yeah, I think Hikari proved that her performance in Kunoichi 9 was not a fluke. I think that's safe to say.
Yeah.
And like we said, I mean, she's 21. As long as Kunoichi's still on the air, she has a long future on this show. And I mean, I don't care if you're a man or a woman or an animal, that dismount is really tough, especially when you don't know that the obstacle is going to be there ahead of time. Like I said, this was its Kunoichi debut, and she did well considering she had no training on that obstacle. So huge props to her, and just for her overall performance, she was great.
Mm-hmm. Over under, do you see her actually completing the course in future seasons? I actually say yes. Yeah. Okay.
Yes. I have a question. Did you, in the beginning of the episode, they did a previously on Kunoichi where they showed her final stage run. Did you watch it?
I did. And it was...
What are you...
It was awesome, but it also told me that she has a lot of work to do in terms of actually like preparing for that stage 4. Now they have kind of like a double. It's not a spider climb necessarily. It's kind of like that, but it's more of ladders. Is that new? And I'm curious, like if people like if you've seen people like quickly do that.
It's half new. The ladder section was in a previous Kunoichi final, but the rope is actually new. Previously it used to be a pole climb at the end of the final stage, but now it's a traditional rope climb, which is a lot harder.
Yeah, I really like that.
Yeah, but with the ladders, obviously, I mean, it's easier to climb in general than the spider walk, but the big difference is that you need a lot more precision in your steps. Because if you watch her run, she kept overshooting the rungs, and it slowed her down a lot. So it's essentially you have to like master like a speed climbing sort of thing with like precision in your movements. So I think that's what the uniqueness of that version of the final stage.
Yeah, I like it. It's kind of tricky. It's got it involves a little bit more technique than maybe you can think of just looking at it.
Yeah.
Richard, do you see it?
Yeah, I saw it too. I thought it was pretty cool. I wasn't sure how much easier or more difficult it would be with the two ladders versus the what's it called again? The heck, they had a different name for it on the UK Ninja Warrior, and it's totally throwing me off now.
Oh,
spider climb. Yeah, they call it like a chimney or something.
Chimney climb, which is really dumb.
I mean, it's UK Ninja Warrior. I mean, everything about that is garbage.
Dude, I would not have done what you guys have done. What you guys did. I would have like watched maybe 2 episodes and been like, I'm out.
Trust me when I say I wanted that so badly.
I believe you.
I pushed through. I made him push through. We're covering the whole thing. We got to go back. I'm a bit of a completionist. We got to go back and finish the Jump City Seattle too before we move on to anything else.
Which is way better than Ninja Warrior UK. Yeah.
I'm all for that. I thought Rich was about to say we need to go back to other seasons of UK Ninja Warrior.
Oh, God,
and I was about to find a way to get to Canada and just slap him. I'm like, I am not watching UK Ninja Warrior.
But we do have a couple other things to cover here before we finish this monster episode. Let's take a second to talk about the National Ninja League because we are so behind. And we need to talk about the TA Fitness one. At this one, a pretty standard course for the most part. A lot of really shortened versions of obstacles, a few little oddities in it. But 2 obstacles that really stood out that we need to talk about before we talk about the results. The Curtain Slider 2.0.
Needs a better name.
It does. It definitely needs a better name. And Chris Wilczewski described it as one of the most difficult obstacles in National Ninja League history. And looking at it, I would tend to agree. That looks insane. What did you think of it?
Yeah, it's I mean, it's very unique. It looks tough just because I mean, you got to make sure that the length that you slip through, I guess we should probably explain what this obstacle is.
Yeah.
Basically, you got a curtain on a ring. You got to then take that curtain while hanging from that curtain and slip it through another ring and then slide across the track and then slip it through a third ring while holding onto the curtain the entire time. And I think one of the keys to that obstacle is making sure you properly manage the length of your curtain as you go through the rings, because that seemed to be a thing that could trick you up. But it's just, because it's so late in the course and you're hanging as you're doing these slip movements and stuff, and it's legitimately a tough obstacle.
Guys, I have I'm sure you guys have seen some fitness videos and stuff, and I've done it myself of like pull-ups with towels and everything. The amount of squeeze that you have to produce to hold yourself up with the towel is so incredibly difficult. And the fact that they have to lock off squeezing and then use your other arm while squeezing, holding your body up, doing this is really hard. I mean, it's one thing to hold your body up with I guess a ring or anything like that, where I guess you can bear your weight down on your fingertips more. With this, you're just gripping on, and you can slide out at any moment if you don't stop squeezing as hard as you can. And the fact that you have to do about 3 transitions of this is just incredible. I mean, this has got to be one of the toughest obstacles. Visually, it might not like look it, but boy, that has got to be so hard for those ninjas to do it.
Yeah, and we actually didn't see any of the ninjas complete it to give an idea of how hard it was. We saw multiple attempts and no finishers, unfortunately. So we didn't get to see anyone attempt the Tetris board, which came afterwards. A very interesting and kind of cool looking obstacle. It had basically, imagine sticking planks, like little 2x4s, into slots where you would normally have like a pegs, so it was like a square pegboard.
Yeah, square pegboard. It's pretty cool. I like it, and I want to see. I want to see in future competitions, maybe at TA Fitness, like that tackled maybe earlier in the course, because that looks really interesting.
I was so disappointed that no one made it to that obstacle, because I really like that obstacle. I personally like the design more than the curtain slider 2.0, just because I just think when I saw that the Tetris board and how the angles of the holes, because they're rectangles, how the angles differ as you go along, and I'm just like, that is such a cool and smart twist on a pegboard. I think it's a really smart obstacle.
It has a lot of potential. That's one of the ones you could see making it into that obstacle design challenge next year.
Yeah, it kind of switches things up, where the fact that with a pegboard, it doesn't matter the angle or the turn that you put it in. But with this, you really have a 6-axis motion of getting all emphasis of the peg into the slot, and it just makes it that much harder. I really like it.
So looking at the results for the women, we had in third place Kieran Hart, in second McKinley Pierce,
Woo-woo.
and in first Alyssa Beard.
Shocking.
Yeah.
How could that possibly happen? She is amazing. So yeah, you get to see little clips of the runs. It'll be linked in the show notes as always, so you should check it out and see how everybody did. And for the men, in third place, we had Eli Chevalier. In second, Noel Reyes. And in first, Lucio Batista, the mustache ninja.
His mustache is so epic, y'all.
I didn't expect to see him again so soon after the last season, so it's cool that he's out there competing in the NNL.
I know I'm not the only one to say this, but his mustache makes me miss Brian Orozco.
I miss Brian Orozco. I don't think they need to hype him up as much as they did in earlier seasons, but I co-sign. I miss Brian Orozco. I miss Levi Muhlenberg. I miss some of the OGs.
Yeah. Unfortunately, Brian's not coming back, so oh well.
Yeah.
So before we go, there's been a little bit of a disturbance in the force. I don't know what you want to call it. There's been a little bit of some controversy.
There is some backstage shenanigans going on.
There we go. There's a good way of saying it. Ninja versus Ninja, and I don't think Bijan's even up on this one yet. There's some weird stuff going on. We're getting some hints around the edges. There's some ninjas not coming back. Joe Moravsky's not coming back.
What?
Drew Dressel's not coming back.
Okay,
no. Whoa. You need to slow down right a minute. Hold up. Let's get the bell going. Shane, first of all, what'd you just say, Rich? What'd you just say?
Hold on. Let me break it down to him. Rich.
Go for it.
So yesterday, so NBC just recently started the filming of Ninja vs. Ninja, and yesterday on his Twitter and Facebook, Joe announced that he, as well as other ninjas, originally he said all of Storm Team, but he edited that part out. But he will not be competing in Ninja vs. Ninja this year. And when answering some people's questions in the comments, he did say it's not for scheduling conflict reasons. Something's going on behind the scenes that made him want to not compete.
That's annoying.
We don't know the full details. What is alarming is that, like he said, there are some other ninjas who aren't competing, and the two biggest ones that we know for sure are not competing this season are Drew Dressel and Jesse Graff.
Good job!
Yeah.
Okay. What? So, let's break this down. We're talking about the 3 top ninjas in the entire sport, y'all.
Yeah.
Not coming back to Ninja versus Ninja. I hate that name, but that's a whole nother story. What's going on here? I mean, if we break down some of the grievances that Joe Morasi's had in the past with American Ninja Warrior, I could see maybe what's going on with that. But that's pure speculation. I mean, having Jesse Graff and also... getting angry.
True.
Having Jesse Graff and Drew not competing also, this is huge. This is going to be a huge factor in the upcoming season. And I don't know, it's really, really disturbing. Frustrating as all heck. Me, first time hearing it. I'm sure we're going to hear a whole lot more about it upcoming. Maybe in the backlines because, I mean, more than anything else, now I'm thinking about it, how is this going to affect those 3 competitors competing in the next season of ANW? I mean, if they don't bring them back, that is not okay.
Yeah. I think
I'm heated.
this is pure speculation. This is pure speculation on my part. But my guess is that something in the contracts changed that they did not like. That is pure speculation on my part. I just want to make that perfectly clear. Because that's the only reason I can think of why they would drop out so late in the game. And if this issue is not resolved by ANW, there's a good chance they might not be back. And I don't want that to happen. They should all come back. And honestly, of the 3, I think Jessie might have the most pull simply because, she went viral when she cleared stage 1. And I think... I don't know. It's very weird at the moment, and we're kind of at a point where it's like we don't know all the information, but we know something's going on.
Yeah, the only other thing that would make sense to me is that there was something unsafe about the course, or something about the course itself that when they saw it, they went, "We're not doing that." That was the only thing that would make it last minute and make sense. And there was some comment about solidarity with the other ninjas too, so I don't know exactly what is going on, but we'll try to keep you updated. Don't normally get into the backstage stuff, usually try to avoid it, but in this case it seems relevant, and if any of you have information, we will take it, and we can be discreet if you want us to be, or we can announce it to the world. You let us know.
Yeah, I'm curious about this one. Let us know. And I mean, this has major implications. I'm really curious about this because it does seem like it's bigger than just Joe or Jesse or Drew. It's something more deeper than that that's going on, and the 3 top names in the sport kind of making a stand, it sounds like. That's speculation, but I could see that happening. And I applaud them for it if they need to make a stand against, producers kind of overstepping their bounds in many ways. Now, I'm really curious now to see what's going on with Ninja versus Ninja, and if it is an issue with a particular obstacle or something else is going on with the contracts. All I could say is that I really wish everybody the best, and maybe this will open new boundaries. Maybe there can be a union maybe for the competitors. Maybe there can be something going on with better understandings and I guess less limitations for the athletes. Maybe it opens the gateways to them actually getting paid for all their contributions and how much they bring to the sport. I mean, it could be many things, and I think this is going to be a topic we're going to be covering in the months coming up ahead.
All right.
Hey, Will, congratulations. It looks like we're about to get that 2-hour podcast that you've been striving for, bro.
Woo! Don't let your dreams be dreams. If you work hard, you can make things possible.
I love it.
So, Will, if anyone wants to send you a thank you for creating this monster of an episode, where can they reach you? Where can you be found online?
Okay. So you can find me on Twitter at 2D2Will. That is the number 2, the letter D, the number 2, followed by Will. If you want to follow my video-based shenanigans, where I do videos based on Ninja Warrior and other similar stuff and non-similar stuff, you can check me out at youtube.com/222productions. That is the number 2 3 times followed by the word productions. And that is approaching its 10-year anniversary next month. Oh my god, nice. I am getting so old. Oh my god. I can't believe that I've been doing this stupid thing for so long.
Dude, you're the veteran here, man.
Yep.
We're just newbies taking over, taking inspiration from you.
Yeah, I heard that taking over slip up.
No, I don't know what you're talking about, bro.
Slow clap.
Yeah, if you on that channel, you could find my original obstacle course series that I used to do back in the day. That is very old and out of date, and in 240 resolution. You also find coverage of both finales of the National Ninja League, as well as most recently my personal coverage of American Ninja Warrior. And if you're interested in hearing a different point of view than these two guys, then check out what I had to say. And yeah, it's a bit different at times.
Just a little bit, but I gotta say, it's really fun listening to Will on his show, on his YouTube channel. He's got really, really good takes on the obstacles. Every opinion he has is fair, and he backs it up with nice evidence and everything. So it's really dynamic, and dude, so entertaining. You are so entertaining, and check out Will's coverage, especially of the finals of National Ninja League. That is some grade A good stuff.
Yeah, I even got some interviews with some ninjas over the years, so you can check those out too. So yeah, that's about everything that is ninja related that I do. I do other non-ninja stuff, but that's not as important. So, yeah.
Cool.
Follow me.
Definitely follow Will. We do, and we love watching his videos and everything. So, thanks, Will, for joining us. It was great having you on, as I knew it would be.
Yeah. Please watch my stuff. I just filmed a video where I risked my life. Please watch my stuff.
It's good stuff, man. And thank you so much for coming on. It was a pleasure talking to you. It's crazy. This is the first time you've been on a podcast, or me talking to you via Skype. But yeah, we'll have to do this again, man. It was fun.
Well, if there's any sort of Japanese game show that you're looking for an expert in that maybe you want to watch, I don't know, like Viking. Viking. Sorry. Just give me a call, Viking. Hey, so just let me know.
I am all for
Viking.
it.
Watch Viking.
I think we've probably run enough Japanese content lately. I think we've hit our limit for now. I don't know how much our audience is liking this. I hope everybody's stayed tuned with us. And if you'd like to reach out to us and let us know if you've enjoyed this coverage, you can reach me at rich@ninjapodcast.com. I am at Ninja Podcast on both Instagram and Twitter. And Bijan, how can they reach you?
Hit me up on Twitter and Instagram at Bijan151. That is BIJAN 151. Hit up Rich about us covering MXC. All like 5,000 episodes of it.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you all for listening, and I hope you have a fantastic week.
Peace and love, y'all.